This is WSVI Channel 8 News, the voice of the Virgin Islands, starting now.
You have children, Mr. Kupfer?
Yes.
Okay. If Johnny comes and says, I need $100 because his shoe's begging bread, and he comes back and he says, Daddy, I need $100, but you already gave him $100 for shoes and you don't see the shoes, would you give him $100 again?
News Channel 8, brought to you in the Virgin Islands by Omega XL.
And I ordered this thing and I got it. I'm pain free, and it's all because of Omega XL.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the media for coming here today and for everyone that has joined us. Ever since the inception of the Brian Roach administration, we have focused on three main things. Number one, stabilizing the government and restoring the trust of the residents and its investors. Number two, making sure that the economy, that the recovery does not miss a step. And number three, making sure that we have economic development beyond the recovery period. Today, it is with great joy that I have before me another piece of the puzzle in making sure that our economic recovery does better than just what happens after the hurricane. Today we sign a new piece, the Hotel Development Act. They say a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, and certainly this piece of legislation represents our efforts not only to attract new investment in the Virgin Islands, but to make sure that the hotels that are here have an opportunity to refresh their product continually and give back to so much employment and of course the experience that visitors come here have. I'm happy to say that this is a joint piece of legislation, and when we look at it, it's what happens when Democrats come together. I'm happy to say thank you to Senator Kurt Viale and the entire legislature, Senate President Novell Francis, but especially Senator Viale, who worked diligently on this. When we initially proposed it, he had already preempted and had a piece of legislation. And it took months of work between him, his staff, and our legal staff, myself, to make sure that we have this here, this piece of document complete today. What this means for us going forward now with the implementation of the economic recovery fee is that hotels can add on to the already established hotel to their hotel occupancy, room occupancy tax, up to 8%, allowing them to create an economic recovery fund that they can do improvements or mitigate any debt that they have as a result of the storm. This is one piece of us trying to do more for our hotels. Those hotels that represent room stays that will allow visitors to not only drive taxis, but have it enjoy tours, see our scenic beaches, and shop in our stores. More employment, more economic productivity for all three islands. So without much further ado, I'll go here and sign the document, enacting into law a final piece of our Hotel Development Act. We'll take a few questions from the press.
Robert Moore with the VI Consortium. So that I understand the hotels can add an additional 8% to the room tax?
Up to
8%.
7.5.
7.5%. And then those hotels, will they retain that additional funding, or does that go to the government coffers and then?
What happens is that it's a whole process that you have to go through in order to get the funding, and in getting the funding, the approval process, there'll be established an account from which any proceeds will be paid out of. But it's not an automatic process. You have to go through the procedure in order to do it.
Are we aware of any hotels that intend to take advantage of that currently? I know there are a couple of major hotels like St. Thomas that are still...
Well, I mean, the main point for this, if you realize, we still have the Sugar Bay resort that is not up yet. We have a number of hotel projects that, including the one at Haven site that was proposed to be built, that these changes to the law would allow for. Doing this, remember there was a $10 million that was being requested from the government in cash. This new vehicle now provides for a new funding stream in order to fund that sort of make up that gap investment that a lot of these hotels experience.
This is News Channel 8.
I am the Attorney General, Denise George, and we work hand in hand. The Attorney General's office works hand in hand with the Virgin Islands Police Department from crime to conviction, especially in the area of violent crime that besets our community. What we do, we are support for the VIPD with respect to assisting with warrants and assisting with search warrants as well as arrest warrants. And we provide that support. So you have from crime to arrest, and finally they're able to make an arrest. Now what happens is that the Attorney General's office helps and assists with the affidavits and everything, and then helps the VIPD to be able to then go forward to court with a warrant in order for the judge to then determine whether or not there's probable cause for an arrest or for search warrants. At the point that there is an arrest made, at that point in time, then it goes to the prosecution area of the spectrum of crime to conviction, and that's what we do. As the Attorney General's office, we do vigorous prosecution of violent crimes. And that is our role in this, along with the assistance and support of the VIPD to carry it to conviction. Crime to conviction, that is the spectrum of crime solving. It doesn't just stop in the middle with the arrest. And particularly it's in this particular case with respect to the pool, the cool out bar and the arrests that have been made pursuant to the warrants by the VIPD and the work that the VIPD has been doing, and with the Attorney General giving the support and everything that we need, we're able to make those arrests and also file criminal charges against, at least so far, for 3 or 4 of the persons who we are charging with the shooting incident at the Cool Out Bar. 32 counts, criminal felonies actually were charged by the Attorney General's office as against the defendants Eric Acosta, Kareem Fleming, Mario McGrath, and Ronaldo Filbert. That's 32 counts, including 8 counts of attempted murder in the first degree, 4 counts of assault in the first degree, 4 counts of unauthorized possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime of violence, 4 counts of unauthorized possession of a firearm within 1,000 feet of a school, 4 counts of possession of ammunition, 4 counts of discharging and aiming a firearm, and 4 counts of reckless endangerment in the first degree. These are all felonies, very, very serious offenses. This is a charging document. We call it the information. Sometimes people hear with federal charging documents, it's called the indictment, with what we call with it an information when felonies are charged. So we file this information, but one thing I do have to caution, that this is a beginning of the prosecution section of the crime spectrum. So therefore, it is a charging document, but it does not establish guilt, because in the court of law, a person is innocent until proven guilty. So we still have the hurdle and the challenge of proving beyond a reasonable doubt, going to trial and seeking conviction. Again, hand in hand with the Virgin Islands Police Department. This is not the first, and it certainly won't be the last, where we have successful arrests especially in combating violent crimes in this community. The VIPD aggressively does their work as first responders in investigation and prosecution with our help, investigation and arrest with our help, and we aggressively and often successfully prosecute also these violent crimes in order to get the conviction. I also would like to say our primary concern with the Attorney General's office and the BIPD is to get the weapons off the street. Why? Because of the public safety. That's really the crux of this whole thing.
This is News Channel 8.
There are things you just want more of, like cat videos, your favorite series, vacations, delicious subs. That's why Subway brings you new 2 for $10 footlongs. Choose between 5 of our most satisfying, melty, and crave-worthy signature sub favorites. Get more of what you love. Every day from 4 p.m., come in for 2 for $10 footlongs. Make it what you want, only at Subway USVI restaurants.
Chevy's the only brand
to earn J.D. Power Dependability Awards across cars, trucks,
and SUVs
4 years in a row.
Since more than 32,000 real people,
just like me.
And me.
And me.
Took the survey that decided these awards.
It was only right that you hear the good news from real people.
Like us.
Current competitive owners can get $4,750 total cash allowance on most Equinox models. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Blended for the way we live our active lives. All natural, no side effects. Delivered right to your door anywhere in the Virgin Islands. 1-800-852-3780.
Was that an earthquake? No. What do you do if there's an earthquake?
Drop, cover, and hold on.
What does that mean?
You drop to the ground, take cover underneath a sturdy table or desk, and hold on until the shaking stops.
What if there's no table or desk?
Stay away from the walls, windows, and doorways. Use your hands to cover your head and face, and crouch in a corner of the building.
But what if you're outside?
Go to an open space away from buildings, trees, street lights, and utility wires. Drop to your knees, protect your head with your arms, and wait for the shaking to stop.
Restez vigilant pour tout ça qui est au monde. Et préparez pour changer côté où est si nécessaire. Pendant un temps blanc, n'importe bagaille qui est capable de déplacer avec tomber, cloison, la porte, fenêtre, meuble et appareil capable de poser danger. Changer, protéger tête ou n'importe bagaille qui est capable de déplacer. Pas panique. Consentité à tromper, accroupi, couvert tête ou avec espérer bout. C'est une commission par groupe management des As Biefort et place management des As en Saint-Lucie, et financé par l'Agence pour développement international Amérique, Bureau assistance des As l'autre pays.
This is News Channel 8.
Here's the midweek look from the Channel 8 Tropical Weather Center at what's going on out in the tropical Atlantic at what's supposed to be an active time of the Atlantic hurricane season. But what we see is pretty much next to nothing. Coming off of Africa are a few very significant and angry-looking thunder showers. They're heading off the coast of Africa, West Africa, and they're not even making the kind of rise in latitude that is necessary to get it anywhere near the Virgin Islands. They're going west, almost west-southwest from Africa, and dissipating around Guyana and Trinidad, but the waves that are coming off of Africa are not making it up our way. And it doesn't look like there's anything else that's threatening out there coming off of the tropical side of the Atlantic. And this is primarily due to the Saharan dust that is really vigorously coming into our area and will be over the next few days. Take a look at this graphic. projecting the future projections of Saharan dust. This dry air will promote fair weather conditions through the end of the week. The Saharan dry air mass is basically keeping us at a very dry month in the overall scheme of things, and the dry air will continue into the end of the week. And now into next week, starting on Sunday, moisture is forecast to lift up from the Caribbean, erode the drier air in the mid-level atmosphere. This may be producing a tropical wave into next week. So a week from now, and increased showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon by next Tuesday. And this tropical wave will pass us by shortly thereafter.
This is News Channel 8.
Because we can't act as if the past is cultural Zoloft, as if it's a myth. The past is why we're here today. The outages are a direct result of all of this. Somebody should sit and explain, what are you doing with the money, the revenue that you have requested with these rates? And that is where the distrust is created. Because you go to the PSC. You have children, Mr. Kupfer?
Yes.
Okay. If Johnny comes and says, I need $100 because his shoe's begging bread, the sole falling off, and the front open, and you give him $100, and he comes back and he says, Daddy, I need $100, but you already gave him $100 for shoes, and you don't see the shoes. Would you give him $100 again? In Caribbean terms, you say money don't grow on tree. Would that be your response, yes or no?
No, I would not give him the money.
You wouldn't give him the money, correct? That is a problem. So every time you went to the PSC, they said yes, but where's the outcome? So tell me, where's that money? Ms. Gottlieb, can you respond to that for me, please? Or anybody on the team?
I can hazard a guess. I wasn't there, but I know that generally the amount that we're collecting for fuel is insufficient to cover our fuel costs. And I would suspect that overall, that's probably where a good bit of the money went. The members of our pricing and rate team here, so they may have more specific information.
So if that's where the money went, where's the transparency? You don't need to hire a public relations team to say that that is what you did, correct? Yes? No?
No.
Let's go on page 9 of this report, because you sent us a bunch of stuff. I probably be an overnight energy expert. But the AMI program, the metering program, the capital cost for the program was between 10 and 13 million. And the consumers are paying a debt service that was approximately 1.8 million annually. Despite the lack of timely financing, WAPA went ahead with the project. And you used your line of credit, your surcharges, and that wasn't conveyed to the PSC. Mr. Cole, am I speaking facts right now?
I would say that the report speaks for itself.
Okay, that's the facts. Good. So you were able to get an RUS loan after the fact. And this seems to be the problem with WAPA, that you undertake these projects without even securing adequate funding. So let's go to Vital. What was the projected cost?
The final agreed cost was $160 million.
Projected, initial.
87.
Actual.
The final agreed amount was 160.
Ms. Farrington, can you get to the mic for me for a second?
Yes,
Were vendors required to perform due diligence and bid accordingly?
Were vendors
required to perform due diligence and bid accordingly?
I would say yes. We went out for a procurement for this particular contract.
So due diligence would include weather, soil, supplies, correct?
Not everything could have been done in the procurement process.
But due diligence would still be some level of proper
there is some
research,
certain
right?
due diligence required,
Okay.
yes.
So when the project had a cost overrun of 120 million or so, 73 million, did WAPA object? Was there any contest to the exorbitant cost overrun from WAPA?
Those were negotiated. In other words, they presented WAPA with their procurement, not their procurement, with whatever transpired. They presented the information that supported those adjustments.
So don't you believe that the exorbitant cost overruns and change order items should have been in the bid somewhere? Because when you look at the Vital project, no research was done up front. Am I correct?
1 minute 30 seconds.
As we explained in the testimony, when
Am
we
I correct,
procure-
Mr. Attorney Farrington?
What was the question?
Did we do a proper research with Vital?
If we did a proper
The
research.
feasibility study, was it done? Or after the fact?
No, feasibility study was done concurrent with getting the contract done.
That's not true. We sat in private meetings and that's not true. You're under oath. So these overruns happen. We didn't go back to the PSC board. We agreed on a 14% interest rate. That's total insanity. And then Vital have all these issues with scams in Kazakhstan, in Mozambique, in Brazil. And if you were the CEO of the company at the time, Mr. Kopfer, would you agree to such terms?
Based on what I've seen and what was done and the urgency to get the project online, that to take 2 years to do detailed engineering and get
Yes
a
or
better
no?
cost estimate, and then you would have ordered the vessels, which take a year. That
30
would have been
seconds.
a 3-year
Kopfer,
delay.
yes or no, please?
At least a 3-year delay to the project.
So none of the things that happened with Vital, you wouldn't say it's incompetence or negligence?
I was not here at the time. I've seen projects go this way before. Whenever you get into a project and you haven't done the upfront detailed engineering, things tend to go that way. So I've seen it before.
Lastly,
you can never,
before-
after the fact, justify it. The doubling of cost. is
Time.
My
always
time. May I
an
conclude,
issue.
Mr. Chair, briefly? The next round, I'll talk about the board because I don't see any attorney assigned to the board. Is there an attorney assigned to the board?
No, not at this time.
No. And the board is sitting there approving multi-million-dollar contracts that WAPA brings to you, correct?
Agreed.
That is our problem.
This is News Channel 8.
In today's news, Director of Mental Health, Dr. Virginia Rubin, has said that the community must recognize that apart from mental health and depression diagnosis, there are other factors contributing to suicide. Dr. Rubin said economic, social, and cultural factors also play a role, and that the community mental health and substance abuse services will be raising awareness on mental health issues as part of World Mental Health Day activities on Thursday, October 10th. The director said, "We want to encourage the community to think and talk before they tip their hat." She added that suicide rates continue to rise throughout the region, and by understanding the demanding realities faced by families and friends, it is imperative that they are provided with adequate coping skills, resources, and support. Dr. Rubin said suicide warning signs include talking, thinking, reading, or writing about suicide. Other signs include talking about feeling worthless or hopeless, losing interest in activities, using or increasing use of drugs or alcohol, or any changes from typical behaviors such as having problems at school or work and not wanting to go out with friends. If you suspect that a family member or friend may be considering suicide, be honest and express your concerns to them, the director urged. She added, "You should also listen and offer support. Ask direct questions about thoughts of suicide and take them seriously if they are thinking about harming themselves. Persons can also seek help by contacting Community Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services located in the Major Peebles wing of the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital at 852-7670 and offer to accompany their relatives and friends to seek help.
This is News Channel 8.
This is the nimble Chevy Trax, the versatile Chevy Equinox, the stylish all-new Chevy Blazer, and the roomy Chevy Traverse with seating for up to 8. The Chevy family of SUVs. No matter what you're looking for in an SUV, Chevy's got you covered.
Get $3,500 total cash allowance on all 2019 Trax models. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
There are things you just want more of, like cat videos, your favorite series, vacations, delicious subs. That's why Subway brings you new 2 for $10 footlongs. Choose between 5 of our most satisfying, melty, and crave-worthy signature sub favorites. Get more of what you love. Every day from 4 p.m., come in for 2 for $10 footlongs. Make it what you want, only at Subway USVI restaurants.
We now have Omega XL. You don't need to suffer anymore. The natural anti-inflammatory power that is packed into the green lip muscle is so amazing that back in the 60s, even NASA researched it, searching for nutritional and medical benefits for astronauts. Omega XL will help your pain, and you can live the life you deserve. Omega-3 fatty acids are essential because the human body needs them for many functions, from building healthy cells to maintaining brain and nerve functions. Green lip mussels are rich in EPA and DHA-free fatty acids, which are needed to fight pain and inflammation. Omega XL is a pure, potent, and highly concentrated anti-inflammatory in a small, easy-to-swallow capsule. You don't need to suffer anymore. Omega XL will help your pain, and you can live the life you deserve.
This is News Channel 8.
Governor Albert Bryant has signed a proclamation declaring October Breast Cancer Awareness Month to raise awareness about this disease. There are observations of this month's important activities going on all over the world, including the Caribbean, the U.S., and England.
19, the morning of October the 6th, and here we are, the members of the Lions Club of Castries and the Leo Club of Castries, having just completed the Walk for the Cure. What is the Lions? Yay! Everybody knows Lions don't fight cancer alone! And everyone knows someone who has cancer.
Yes.
Alrighty then.
Lucky to have a daughter like you. She made me go to the doctor, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. But I started treatment early, and because of that, I'm alive today.
We know that breast cancer can affect women of any age. But did you know that early detection and treatment can save lives? As you get older, your chances of getting breast cancer increase. 1/3 of women diagnosed with breast cancer each year in England are age 70 and over. If you are age 70 or over and you notice changes in your breast, confide in someone you're close to, perhaps your granddaughter or your daughter, and go see your doctor straight away. Breast cancer can have many symptoms. A lump in the breast isn't the only symptom. Pain in your breast or armpit, changes to your nipples, size or shape of your breasts could also be a sign of breast cancer. Many women find it embarrassing to talk about the symptoms of breast cancer. If you have a mother or mother-in-law age 70 and over, talk to them openly. If they talk about changes to their breasts, take them to their doctor straight away. If breast cancer is diagnosed early, you can be treated successfully and have more time to spend with your children and grandchildren. Let's be clear on cancer.
And we leave you with these beautiful scenes, unusual colors, on the front of our government mansions in St. Thomas and St. Croix that have been lit up in pink in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. News Channel 8, brought to you in the Virgin Islands by Omega XL.
And I ordered this thing and I got it. I'm pain free, and it's all because of Omega XL.